All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Dharma Digs, a podcast in pursuit of purposeful living. I'm your host, Taylor Winchester, and as always, I'm grateful that you've decided to take a little bit of time out of your day to stop by and tune into this podcast, so thank you for being here. Today is another solo dig episode. For those that have been following along, you're well aware that I rotate every other week. Will be a solo dig, shorter, concise episode where I'm sharing a little bit of the information that I'm learning from and some of the daily practices and things that I'm working into my routines that are helping me kind of feel a bit more sense of purpose within the world myself, but also really feel a better sense of who and what my true essence is and what I'm here to do, what my purpose is. And I think that is an ongoing search, which is why the other episodes, every other week episodes, I'm bringing guests on to learn from and talk about what it is they do from a creative standpoint and what maybe their day-to-day lives, whether it be work or career or hobbies, and what they are and how they're finding a sense of purpose through their own journeys. So again, today is a short solo dig episode. We're going to talk briefly about why meditate. Why should you meditate? Why have I chosen to really make this more of a daily, ongoing routine of meditating, and maybe how it could apply in your day-to-day routine, and some of the benefits that I found may be beneficial to you as well if you decide to partake. So let's stop and think a little bit about how many thoughts we have in a day. I don't know if you've ever tried to keep up with this, and I never really gave it much thought, honestly, until really last year when I started this program through the Chopra wellness program for meditation. And there's science that says we think we have anywhere between 6,000 and 8,000 thoughts a day, which if you think about that is adding one more thought to it. But no, in all seriousness, that is just a crazy amount of thoughts going through our heads daily. So what I'm learning and kind of becoming more aware of is that also realizing that those thoughts tend to kind of have a snowball effect into other thoughts and whatever it may be. It could be a song that you hear on the radio. It could be the conversation that you hear as you're walking by strangers on the street. It could be so many different things. It could be the social media post that you read leads your mind into this kind of down this rabbit hole of the next thought onto the next thought. So meditation has been something that allows many other folks than just myself, but it allows us to really quiet the mind down. And you've heard me talk about this if you have listened in to this podcast. You've heard me talk about this, but with so much going on in the world, the chaos, the concerns of health, finances, the anxieties and stress, I feel like because of the pandemic, it's at an all-time high. And what I found is almost like a little safe space for my mind when I meditate, because it's not easy and it's not like the thoughts stop, but it allows myself to become more aware of truly being. And I'm kind of trying to carry this this motto or this way of living is to try and become and really help not only myself to maintain this connection with the actual be in human being, but how can I help other humans connect with the be in being? And I've heard some folks, Roger Gabriel, who is one of the instructors in the program that I'm going through, talks about, they don't call us human doings, they call us human beings. But if you look around and you look at our society, specifically here in the U.S., but really all over the world, we've become so wrapped up in just go, go, go. Got to get stuff done, got to be productive, got to go do this next thing. And it's very easy to kind of fall out of alignment with who we truly are and what is really important to us from a holistic kind of mind, body, spirit approach. And the great thing that I found about this meditation practice is that it doesn't matter really what your background or what your belief systems are when it comes to religion or spirituality. Meditation is something that can really translate across the board. It doesn't matter. So another quote that I recently read was from Deepak Chopra, and it's prayer is when we speak to God or to that higher being. If you don't believe in the kind of typical Christian, Western Christian God per se, just whatever that higher sense of being is. So prayer is when we speak to God, but meditation is when we listen and when God or that spirit speaks to us. So I've really tried to focus on that a lot more within not only my meditation practice, but trying to carry those intentions that I set through that daily routine and ritual of practicing throughout my day. And it doesn't change the fact that we're always going to have these thoughts coming in. It just makes us more aware and allows us to kind of find that sense of being through it all. And that may sound a little kind of out there and a little frou-frou or whatever you want to call it. But the reality is that we are all in our own realities. I mean, the way we perceive things are based on the things that we've seen and experienced already in our lives. But it's really come down to how do we shift our perspective to become more aware so that then that sense of compassion and gratitude and the real sense of essence of who we are can translate and we can carry that with us throughout our day-to-day. So that's really where meditation has become a very important part of my day-to-day routine and my rituals. And I want to tell you a little bit more about, and I'm going to pull from some of my coursework stuff here, but I'm going to read you a little snippet from how meditation benefits everyone around you. And this was written by Roger Gabriel. He is an instructor in the program that I'm going through. And so here it goes. He says, for most of us, our ego began to develop when we were young children. We learned the word mine and how to manipulate our parents by being nice, nasty, or stubborn. As we continued growing, the ego grew too, serving a useful purpose in helping us to organize our education, careers, and families. For many people, the ego continues to dominate throughout their lives. George Harrison's song, I, Me, Mine, may be their anthem, and what's in it for me, their mantra. For other people, there comes a realization that there's more to life than personal gratification, and many times they ask themselves, how can I serve? And this is when the spiritual journey begins. So I'm going to stop reading from that and talk a little bit about why I'm going further and further down this spiritual journey. So I started meditating probably 6 or 7 years ago now, but it was a very inconsistent practice. And 2020 is what really led me into dedicating myself and my time to becoming fully engulfed in this consistency of meditating and really opening my mind, heart, body, soul, all of these things into to trying to glean and learn and really understand more about what it is we're here and what it is I'm put on this earth to do. And that, some everyday changes as to what I think that might be. But the thing that I found with meditation, and this goes what Roger goes on to say, is that if you transform yourself, by transforming yourself, you are also transforming the world around you. And that goes back to a few episodes ago on a solo dig. I talked a little bit about reality and how our reality and the constructs of my personal reality may be very different from the constructs of your reality. And while, yes, there's a greater sense of we're all living in this same reality, the reality is we're not. And when I say that, I don't mean to be confusing or kind of all over the place, but I'm pointing out the fact that our experiences and what we've known as we grew up, what we were introduced to from our family and our friends and our surroundings are what shapes the current reality that we all as individuals live in. And if there is anything that meditation has taught me, is that becoming more compassionate and open to the realization for myself that my reality does not always mean it's the same for other people. And in a world that is really overrun right now with a lot of challenges, there's war, there's strife, there's hunger, there's all these things that sometimes in the Western world and in our kind of safety net of where we live, we don't always have those direct experiences with. So it doesn't feel like that's actually a reality. And what we talk about as in the meditation course is how do we become better individuals and carry that true essence of ourselves throughout our day to day, so that we can then impact the world in a more lightly way. And by lightly, I mean shining a light of love and compassion and all of those things. And I think when I started this personally, I was there's a little bit of fear in everything that we do. And some of that fear, I think I'm realizing is also a concern of being a man, and kind of diving into this kind of world of spirituality and yoga and things that for many years have seemed a little bit more feminine in nature. And I'm realizing why. I don't understand why there aren't more men willing to open up and be vulnerable, in the sense that we need a certain sense of feminine energies within our masculine energies, just as much as the feminine needs the masculine. So it's this weird duality of things and dichotomy of things in a lot of ways, but I digress a little bit here on that. But to go back to Roger's point, as you transform yourself, you transform the world around you. And this is where the spiritual magic really begins and starts to happen. And so you can't, what he's saying is, as you start to transform yourself and become a really relearning that true essence of who you are, the world around you cannot help but be transformed also. And Vedanta, which is the Vedic kind of philosophy that a lot of this meditation, and specifically the mantra-based meditation that I'm working on, really kind of grew out of. And it tells us that the universe is a projection of consciousness. So as you become healthier, happier, and more peaceful, this automatically reflects in the world you create around you. And so Deepak Chopra, who this is his organization, he has a quote that says, "Social transformation comes from personal transformation." And so that's all I'm really going for here is realizing that the one thing in this world that we can control is ourselves. And so if we can meditate and really use our time wisely to work on becoming healthier, happier, more peaceful, and more compassionate beings, then the people we are around, the people that come around us, are going to feel that energy, whether they're conscious of it or not. So that's why I meditate, and I'm excited to roll out some weekly group meditations as I'm learning to really become a teacher of this practice. I want to share this with you all. So I've mentioned it a couple of times on my social media threads, but starting next week, first week in February, I'll be rolling out on Mondays a weekly meditation, group meditation. So if you want to join up, you don't have to be there every week. I think start out with, I'm going to do it on Zoom so that it's a smaller group and folks can have an opportunity to really engage and ask questions, and we can talk about these practices and maybe what folks are hoping to learn from it. So if this is something that you would like to implement into your routine or into your life and you would like to learn more about, please reach out to me. If you follow me on Instagram or you go to my website, there's actually a link for Meditate, and under Instagram, there's a form that you can fill out that really it's a quick questionnaire that asks what you're hoping to benefit from or what you know about it, and really more so of what days and times would be ideal for you. And then on the website, there's a section that says meditate, and it'll just have a little bit more information as to why I'm rolling this program out, what I'm hoping to accomplish with it, which I don't, again, with this kind of approach, I'm not necessarily looking with any specific outcome, just as I haven't with this podcast. More so, it's about engaging in the community and really becoming a better version of me and really a truer essence of me. And so I want to share these things that I'm learning because I truly and wholeheartedly can feel an impact in my day-to-day from this practice that I've worked into my routine. And I think that you will too. So that's all I've got for you today. There's so much more, but I don't want to overload you. I'll leave you with this story that Roger tells us in our studies. And it talks a little bit about, I'll just read you the story. So there's a story of a great saint who lived a simple, humble life. One day God appeared to the saint and said, "Because of your great saintliness, I would like to grant you any wish you choose." Because he was very humble, the saint replied that there was nothing he needed, but God insisted. "All right," the saint conceded, "make it that everyone I encounter is helped in some way by my mere presence, but without knowing it's because of me." To a lesser degree, so that's the story, that's the saint, and I am no saint by any stretch of the imagination, but what I am hoping to do is become a better version of myself and share that with the world, and hopefully that we can all individually feel like we're really working towards becoming better versions of our own selves. So if you want to jump on this train and become a part of this journey with me, I would love to have you. So yeah, head over to the website, shoot me a direct message on Instagram or Facebook, or shoot me an email. It's Taylor@WCreative. The website is Taylor Winchester Creates. I actually updated that recently. So thank you as always for being here. If you are enjoying this so far, please feel free to leave a review on any of the platforms that you're digesting this content. I do have a YouTube channel, which you can go follow and actually get some visual tied into the audio that you're hearing here. But really, I just appreciate the fact that you're tuning in, and I hope that you are finding ways to stay at peace and with some sense of calm through all the crazy, chaotic anxieties that we live in today's world. So with that, I will leave you and say that we'll see you next Friday. If I don't hear from you before, I would love to hear from you before, so head over to the website. Join me this Monday for meditation. It's going to be first thing Monday morning, probably around 7 or 8 a.m. Eastern time. All right? Sending love and light out to you all. Namaste. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.